All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the moon video. I am Raquel from Our Infinite Nature, and
Sarah from Hella Fluid Collective.
I like that we can just kind of like point, like, your turn. Okay. So we are back to discuss the energy of the upcoming full moon in Aries, which is happening on October 17th, 2024. And I have been feeling into the energy of this full moon. And it actually feels like it's kind of like still playing off a lot of the energy we had with the last new moon in Libra, which was all about alignment and action. It feels like this Aries full moon is like trying to keep us acting in our own alignment, but the theme that I picked up on for this particular full moon is choose your choice. And what I mean when I say choose your choice, it has to do with like the motivation behind our choices, right? Like we have numerous choices every single day. And sometimes it feels like we don't, but even then we do. We do have choice always. We have the choice to do it or not do it, right?
Exactly.
I think especially as we are adults, that motivation behind our choices often is rooted in what I feel like I need to do and what I feel like I have to do, like a need or an obligation or even like a perceived goal. And I have to do these things to get there. But what's interesting is nowhere in those two like motivations is our inner desire, is our
Mhm.
actual sense of presence and like, what do I actually want right here and now? And it does feel like this Aries full moon is coming in to kind of remind us of that third option, that third choice, which is always our choice.
Yes.
Our choice. So if we've been making all these choices, but they're never really our choice, it's the choice of society or the choice of responsibility. And I'm not saying like shirk all your responsibilities by no means, by no
Right.
means. But the moon energy is often about balance, just like all of nature energy is often about balance. So the moon is asking us, and this is full moon, and full moons are always about an illumination and a release. Although we'll talk a little bit more about that with this Aries full moon, but it's kind of helping us to illuminate like, am I choosing things based on my own desire, my own choice? That's what's going to help us illuminate. And then it's going to help us release some of the beliefs we have that tell us that we have to put everyone else's needs and all of our obligations on top of our authentic desires. And I think, I mean,
Mhm.
I know I have that belief inside of me. I know I do. I think we're trained to be like that as adults. I mean, I think about even things I tell my kids sometimes where it's like, do your homework first and then play your games. Like we're trained to do that in so many ways. And so the moon isn't saying like shirk your responsibilities. The moon is saying also prioritize your desires. It's like a yes
Yes.
and.
Yes. Yes.
Spirit is very big on yes and.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
And speaking also to just Aries and the full moon, one thing that's important to note about Aries is Aries always brings to it a lot of beginner, like fresh start energy. And that's because Aries is the cardinal fire sign. Cardinal signs are always like instigating type energies. I'm a Cancer, which is also a cardinal sign, so I'm big on that energy. And then Aries is also the first sign of the zodiac. So Aries just has this kind of like new start, fresh beginnings. I always think of Aries as the
Spring.
Fool card in tarot, which is this kind of like blind, I'm just
Yes.
going for it kind of energy, which
Great
in some ways
example.
it reminds me of beginner's luck in a lot of ways. Because we're just going for it. And we're not even conditioned to all the reasons why it won't work, right? Aries
Right.
is like not even seeing that. It's just focused on what I want to do and where I want to go. So with this Aries energy, even though this is a full moon and there is this kind of sense of completion, there's also very much a sense of new beginnings with this Aries full moon, with it being Aries and also with it being the first lunation we have post eclipse season. And that first lunation post eclipse season always feels like a fresh start. It always
Yeah.
feels kind of like a clean slate or kind of like, where are we now? After
Yes.
eclipse season, like we're all okay, like get our bearings again. Where are we now? And unfortunately, at the tail end of eclipse season, we've had some big storms here in the United States, and so there
Yes.
is a lot of kind of like re-anchoring, grounding ourselves that's happening on a very literal level for a lot of people with this Aries
Yes.
full moon as well. So, Sarah, can you talk to us a little bit about some of the astrology that we're seeing around this lunation?
Yes, absolutely. So it's a very, very active chart for this full moon. Um, Venus, I feel like it's a very big player in this. So an hour after the moon is exact, the full moon is exact, we have Venus sextile Pluto. And
Mm,
so that is a harmonious conversation between our relationships, our finances, our value systems, and the way we want to grow and transform, and uncovering some hidden truths. Um, so it gives us an invitation to explore our intimacy and our vulnerabilities. And so I
mm,
think that's really beautiful with what you were saying because, with the whole, this is what we should do, this is what we have to do. I feel like it's nice to get vulnerable with, well, what do I really want to do? And what are my deeper desires?
yeah.
And on top of that, too, the full moon is moon sun opposition. So we have the moon in Aries and we have the sun in Libra. And so Aries is ruled by Mars, which is our desires, our motivations. Libra is ruled by Venus, again, our relationships, some harmony. And so it's about kind of bringing those two together and really understanding that access between the two of them.
Mm,
It's really about understanding the relationship between yourself and your desires, your confidence, your motivations, and your connection and relationships with others as well too.
yeah.
So I think it's that perfect balance. It's not one or the other. It's finding balance
Yeah.
between the two.
Yeah, yeah. Because I mean, I
Yeah,
think if we look at kind of the polarity between Aries and Libra, it's kind of like Aries is like all me, and Libra can be like all we. And we do
right,
recognize that it's truly the balance where we feel most aligned. It's not, we don't want to go into all me like narcissism, right? And we don't want to go
right,
into all we self-sacrifice and complete
right,
fawning and
right,
no sense of self at all. We
right.
really want to find that middle ground.
Yeah,
Again, nature, which we are nature, is always seeking balance, always seeking homeostasis. And that exists
exactly.
within each of us as well. Now, you had mentioned Pluto there. And so I'm just curious because I know Pluto's doing some kind of
Yes.
intense things right
Yeah.
now. So around this full moon, isn't Pluto also stationing direct in Capricorn or stationing retrograde? Like, because I know Pluto's in Capricorn until November 19th. And then Pluto goes into
Yes.
Aquarius and will stay in Aquarius for like 30 years. And it's a big deal. But I know like right around this full moon, Pluto in Capricorn is either like stationing direct or going retrograde. Can you speak on that a little bit? Is that going to impact this full moon at all?
I'm pretty sure Pluto went direct about a week or so ago.
Oh, okay.
So it's been in retrograde, which is
Okay.
why we saw it go back into Capricorn.
Yeah,
It's now
that's right.
direct. However, it's been hanging out in the 29th degree of Capricorn,
Ugh.
which is the 29th degree of any
It's
sign
intense.
is the most intense. Pluto is intense, period. 29th degree is intense.
Yeah.
It's a culmination of everything in that sign. It's like everything as Capricorn as it gets, right? And
Yeah.
it's been there for 20 something years. So it's everything we've done since 2008 coming to a culmination point. And on top of that, Venus is also in the 29th degree of Scorpio.
That's right. Oh, ah, it's intense.
So
Scorpio is so intense too.
and Scorpio's intense. So there's a lot of intensity. Luckily, it's a harmonious conversation. So
Yeah.
it may come through, some more intense realizations. It may come through some intense uncovering of things, but I mean, as always with astrology, it's for the better good, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
spirituality. It's for growth. And so I do think it gives us a moment to look deep into our value systems in a way
Yeah.
that will really help us understand them so that we're not just in that fawn or, people pleasing mode and
Yeah.
really digging deep. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a Scorpio rising, I love Pluto stuff. I'm all about it. Bring on the intensity, bring on the transformation. I'm all for it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think, I
And
mean, I listen, following the astrology of this year with the election, it's just, I feel like it can't get any more literal than, having Pluto go retrograde back into Capricorn just in time for this election and then station direct just in time for the
like a
actual
week
election.
later,
I mean, it's
right?
just, yeah, it's like very literal. But you mentioned that, astrology really is here for continued expansion, to help
Right.
us grow, to help the collective grow. And I do feel like this Aries full moon, how it's influencing, inspiring us to choose ourselves, choose our choice, is also for that purpose of soul growth, soul expansion. And so, one of the things we can do around this full moon is really prioritizing taking actions that light us up, taking
Yeah.
actions that make us feel expanded and lit up and magnetic. And kind of Aries. And Aries is
Yeah.
very not quite as like limelight as Leo, but not that
Right.
far off,
Right.
honestly.
It's true. It's true. I mean, it's my favorite part about it is it's courageous and it's
Yes.
confident. And
Yeah.
it's just like, let's just do it and find
Yes.
out,
That
you
that
know?
whole like I love that Aries has this quality of like, don't slow me down with like why it won't work. Like I just
Right.
like we're not even gonna go there. We're not even gonna talk like that. It's a little bit of like the blinders on, which again is that like fool card energy in tarot,
Right.
which is honestly when it comes to manifestation, when it comes to like really truly manifesting what we want and co-creating what we want in this world, having those blinders on can be one of the most beneficial things we could do in a reality filled with distraction.
It's true. It's really true. I mean, it's such an important energy to include in our day to day and
Yeah.
just our philosophies as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this Aries full moon feels quite supportive.
Yeah.
Listen, full moons are always a little bit emotionally activating. That is what they're meant to do. That is part of the illumination and the release. We cannot let go of that which we do not feel. But this particular full moon, I actually would suggest if you're feeling like manifesting, if you're feeling like spending a little time getting clear on things that make you feel lit up and like making an action plan for doing some of
Yes.
those things, like that this is a great full moon for that. So let yourself really play with the energies as they're working through you. If you're
Mhm.
noticing that you do feel a little bit more like emotionally illuminated and wanting to let go, whether that's through writing down the things that feel like they're holding you back and burning it, or whether you feel like actually I'm feeling a lot of inspiration and I actually just want to make a list of what I'm feeling inspired to do, like flow with that energy, trust it and flow with it. Sometimes, even though we know full moons are great for release and new moons are great for manifestation, the particular lunation could give us a little bit more of that. And I do
Yeah.
feel like if you're feeling kind of like manifesting a little bit with this full moon, this would feel like a very supportive full moon for
Yes.
that. So just a couple things to work with the energy of the Aries full moon. First and foremost, illuminate yourself,
Yeah.
like let yourself shine a light on your inner desires, as Sarah mentioned, like that. Let yourself get vulnerable enough
Yeah.
to ask yourself, like, what do I really want? Or what do I really like? What actually makes me happy? What actually makes me feel alive?
Yes. Mm.
It is quite surprising how at different points in our life we can consider ourselves being so happy, and then we ask ourselves that question and we're like, I don't know.
Right.
And
It's the
that
cycles. Yeah.
that alone is so illuminating, right?
Yes.
So
Hmm.
illuminate yourself, ask yourself these questions, and then you can go into a little bit of a release, like letting go of some of those old limiting beliefs that might tell you that you have to place other people's needs in front of your own, some of the limiting beliefs that even tell you that you have to fulfill your obligations before you can treat yourself, like it's a reminder for
Right.
me, for myself and my own kids.
Right.
um, and then from there, I also feel like there's a lot of just embracing creativity that's coming
Hmm.
through with this Aries full moon as well. I think with that Venus transit you had mentioned, Venus can be great for creativity,
Yep.
beauty. And then Aries just wants to do. Like Aries is
Yep.
just like, let's just do things. Let's go. Let's go. Let's do it. So embracing creativity can be a great way to manifest with this full moon or release. I mean, I think depending on what creative activity you're doing, you can feel like you're either calling something in or you can feel like you're letting it go. And that's just what you're feeling and how
Yeah.
you work with it. So that's some of the energies for this Aries full moon. Again, the theme is to choose your choice and to recognize that if you're really thinking that you have two choices, maybe keep an eye open for that third choice, that third option that exists. And Sarah, anything else you would like to share? Any last little bits for this Aries full moon?
Nope, I think you summed it up perfectly. Again, lots of supportive energy, lots of cardinal energy. So I think it's about staying open, staying vulnerable, and seeing what comes your way.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Sarah. And for everyone who's watching, if you want a little bit more on the astrology of this moon, on some journal prompts, or just ways to work with this moon, please check out the moon blog. I will link it below. And to work one-on-one with Sarah or myself, I will also put links down below in the comments. I highly suggest, Sarah, if you are an entrepreneur and you are looking to work with and bring in the blueprint of the universe, which is astrology, into the work that you do, I could not recommend Sarah more. She is so thorough and she just has such a beautiful way she looks at the charts and looks at your own chart and how those kind of dance with each other. And I mean, the thoroughness, though, is like she sees details and I'm like, whoa, I don't even know how you see that.
I love it. Thank you so much. Thank you.
My pleasure. Okay, friends, we'll see you in a few weeks for our next moon video. And I hope you all have a beautiful and a lovely full moon that is driven by your choices of your own desire. Yeah,
Love it.
have a
Okay.
beautiful lunation. And we'll see you next time. Bye, friends.
Bye.